Yo, what's up, people? It's your boy, I'm Christodom1, and I am back. Video, I apologize. I haven't been uploading videos lately, but your boy trying to get back into the swing of things. But without further ado, let's get into today's topic. Everyone knows that Kawhi Leonard and the San Antonio Spurs have a on-again, off-again relationship with one another. They have trust issues. Kawhi Leonard issued a statement basically talking about the San Antonio Spurs, that he feels there was some trickeration when they misdiagnosed his injury last year. Last year he only played like 6 or 9 games, and then he was out for the rest of the season. And a lot of players were talking about Kawhi Leonard's injury. When you talk about Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, and others, they had a player-only meeting talking about Kawhi Leonard's injury. So that made that situation even worse when you're talking about trying to gain and establish trust with Kawhi Leonard if you're working for the San Antonio Spurs organization. Also in this statement, he feels like the San Antonio Spurs, he meaning Kawhi Leonard, excuse me, basically he has trust issues with this team, and he also feels like this team can't get established all-star players to come aboard and play alongside with him. You know, it's not like in the past with the San Antonio Spurs, when the San Antonio Spurs had Ginobili, Tony Parker, and Tim Duncan. They would have talent on top of talent, okay? And now the San Antonio Spurs seem to somehow they just can't get that old swing of things, that old magic concept, that magic elixir that they normally used to when they had those players in their prime. Now it's just Kawhi Leonard and a handful of players, okay? So I feel like those two issues are why Kawhi Leonard wants to leave the San Antonio Spurs. I think there's some underlining hidden issues that he has with, not issues, but he wants to come home, sort of say, Kawhi Leonard. He was born and raised in L.A. He wants to play in the L.A. market. He said an L.A. team, so the Clippers can also try to pitch their best trade deal with the San Antonio Spurs. But we all know he wants to play for the purple and gold, okay? Now, from the San Antonio Spurs perspective, they too issued a statement, and they would like to have Kawhi Leonard join them in meetings and try to reestablish the connection that they once had with Kawhi Leonard. But the way how they worded their statement is that Kawhi Leonard has to come in and he has to reestablish the connection with the Spurs. The Spurs feel like they didn't do anything wrong, and the burden of proof is on Kawhi Leonard when you're talking about getting back the trust and the belief for that organization. Okay, so it's a bunch of he said, she said. Well, more he said, and we really don't know who we don't know when you're talking about Kawhi Leonard and his group, the San Antonio Spurs and their group. We really don't know who is needing to prove what, okay? But that's besides the point, okay? Now, a lot of people are on this hype train. They're pumping a lot of noise to you guys, and you guys are falling for this hook, line, and sinker about, well, you know what that means if Kawhi Leonard goes, if they trade Kawhi Leonard to the Lakers, then that means LBJ, LeBron James, is going to the Lakers. There's a possibility that we can get either or Paul George or Chris Paul. Chris Paul can just turn down that big time extension and then just join the Lakers on a veteran minimum. Okay, so that's what a lot of people are speculating. But I'm here to tell you guys that none of that stuff is going to happen. Okay, and I'm going to explain it. First, let's talk about Kawhi Leonard, a possible trade with the San Antonio Spurs and the Lakers. The Spurs are not going to do it because of two folds. One, they're not going to get a proper return when you're talking about trading Kawhi Leonard to the Lakers. Okay, I know Magic Johnson is dangling. Oh, I'll give you Alonzo Ball. I'll give you Brandon Ingram. I'll give you Kuzma, whatever his name is, the shooting guard for the Lakers. His name escapes me. I'm sorry. All of those guys, you can get two, maybe all of those guys for Kawhi Leonard. The Spurs are not going to do that because they're still developmental players. You don't know what you're going to get from these players. You might get all-stars or you might get duds, okay? It's a possibility it can swing either way because none of these players have established who they are, okay? So there's an unknown to those players. Also, it's not, if you look at it as of right now today, those players are not players that are high demanding and the Spurs can do something with. Two, the Spurs are not going to do that trade because then you know what that means? You get to play Kawhi Leonard 3 times a year, and they do not want to see Kawhi Leonard 3 times a year beating their brains out. Okay, so that possibility is a no-go with either the Lakers or the Clippers. With the Clippers, they really don't have anything to trade. The only way the Clippers can get Kawhi Leonard, if Kawhi Leonard plays out this year, leaves all that money on the table, and he signs to the Clippers for less than what he could have been making with the Spurs. The same rules apply for the Lakers. Here's why I think the Spurs may have a slight advantage. The Spurs may have a lot more leverage than Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard is not in the same predicament or in the same stratosphere as a LeBron James, as a Kyrie Irving, KD, Chris Paul. Chris Paul, he's not in that predicament where he makes so much money off the court. The money that he's leaving on the table is no big deal. No big dealio. Okay? Kawhi Leonard, he doesn't make that type of money when you talk about endorsements. Now, if everyone remembers the story, Michael Jordan and their representatives, they tried to lowball Kawhi Leonard on his shoe deal with Jordan, and that's why that deal fell apart. Okay? Now, Kawhi Leonard has a lot of people in his ear, most notably his father, okay? And his father knows, Kyrie Irving and their parents, okay? And they've been talking with one another. Now, there's a reason. Now, Kyrie Irving, when he demanded that trade from the Cleveland Cavaliers to the Boston Celtics, a lot of people may think that, well, he did that because he didn't trust the organization. He really didn't trust the direction where LeBron James was going when you talk about his future, okay? And I think Kyrie Irving already knows what LeBron James is possibly going to do this offseason. He just wanted to get a jump on it before LeBron James abandoned ship. Now, remember, I told you guys, I really don't see LeBron James leaving the Cleveland Cavaliers. I've been saying that for almost a year now, okay? But there's always a possibility that he could walk, all right? So when you talk about Kawhi Leonard, I don't think Kawhi Leonard is just going to play out this year, and when next summer comes rolling around, he's just going to leave all that money on the table to join the Lakers. That's the only way he's going to be able to join the Lakers. And the San Antonio Spurs organization, they know this, man, okay? So the San Antonio Spurs really, they're really not on the clock, okay? They have all the way up into the trade deadline to convince Kawhi Leonard to keep his talent, so to say, with the San Antonio Spurs, okay? But I'm here to tell you guys, if Kawhi Leonard leaves, The only possible way Kawhi Leonard leaves the San Antonio Spurs if he simply just leaves all that money on the table and just go to the Lakers. And if that happens, that's going to be next summer. And if there's a possibility for that to happen, I'm pretty sure Klay Thompson may join the Lakers if they can get Kawhi Leonard. If they can't get Kawhi Leonard, Klay Thompson is going to stay with the Golden State Warriors. All right. So that's the only scenario I see of Kyrie Irving joining the Los Angeles Lakers, putting on that purple and gold. I'm here to tell you guys that's a lot of money to be left on the table. And Kawhi Leonard is not like those other guys I just mentioned where they can make so much money off the court with their endorsements, and they can make that money up. Kawhi Leonard is not in that same type of predicament as those other cats are, and that's why they can pretty much go where they want to go. All right, but all that can be changed. Okay, easily Kawhi Leonard can sign a multi-million-dollar shoe deal. I believe Kawhi Leonard is still unsigned, and he can make a lot of money. But when you talk about Kawhi Leonard, he's not in the same breath as a LeBron James, where Nike is just going to start sending the Brink trucks to his home. Okay, he doesn't have that cachet like a Kawhi Leonard. I mean, Kyrie Irving. Excuse me, where Kyrie Irving really started making a splash and a plunge in endorsements when they won the title 2 or 3 years ago. Okay, it's been a long time since Kawhi Leonard has been in the NBA Finals. So if you want those sponsored dollars, you need to be playing like yesterday. Kawhi Leonard should have been trying to figure out somehow, some way to get on the court last year to prove to the naysayers, but also to prove to a lot of these people who want to give the money, which are the endorsers, the sponsors. He has to show them that he's a force in the NBA, and right now it's questionable. Now, from a casual fan perspective, okay, if you're a real sports fan and if you understand basketball, Kawhi Leonard, even him missing the whole season, he's still a top 5 player. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it confused, okay? But there's a lot of doubt, a cloud of doubt surrounding Kawhi Leonard, and there's a possibility that people, casual basketball fans, and these casual basketball fans, they probably don't know a lot about basketball. They're probably going to say, he's not a top 5 player. He's not a top 10 player. Okay, but I gotta go. This guy is getting ready to disrupt my video. So guys, tell me what you think. Rate, comment, subscribe. It's your boy, and I am out. Deuces.